Why do some people always end up in toxic relationships? Why do they date narcissists again and again? Why do they attract friends who betray them, or bosses who micromanage them, or lovers who disappear the moment they feel safe? Western psychology calls it trauma bonding, childhood wounds repeating, unfinished business disguised as fate. But 3,000 years ago, ancient Chinese sages already saw the pattern. They didn't call it attachment theory or CPTSD, they called it Wu Xing, 5 elements, 5 energies, always moving, always shaping, not just the world around you, but the energy you send out and the kind of love you pull in. Let me ask you this, are you wood, always pushing forward but attracting people who block you? Are you fire, burning with passion, but drawn to those who go cold? Are you earth, always giving, until there's nothing left? Are you metal, clear and composed, but isolated and untouched? Or are you water, deep and intuitive, but always disappearing? Here's the truth. You don't attract what you want. You attract what your energy field is ready to hold. If your system is unbalanced, if your 5 element energies are stuck, starved, or overactive, you will keep repeating the same emotional patterns, not because you're broken, but because you haven't changed your energetic shape. This is not a video about fixing your mindset. It's about remembering the language of energy that your body, breath, emotions, and relationships already speak. Once you understand how Wu Xing shows up in your personality, your communication, your emotional defense system, and the kinds of partners you attract, you won't just understand your past, you'll start rewriting your future. So, let's begin, not with judgment, not with blame, but with awareness, with honesty, with a new kind of compass. Because love is not something you chase, it's something you become ready to receive, when your field finally matches what your heart has always asked for. Ready? Let's decode your relationship energy through the lens of the 5 elements. Before we get into the 5 elements, you need to understand how energy actually works. Not as a metaphor, but as a living pattern inside every relationship. Because the truth is, your love life isn't random. It's energetic. It's built on fields, emotional magnetic fields, created by your personality, your pain, your past, and your response to all of it. Think of it like this. You're not just having relationships. You're emitting relationships. Just like gravity holds planets together, your energy field holds patterns of connection, attraction, rejection, collapse, repetition. If you grew up with a controlling parent, your nervous system might be shaped to find chaos familiar. If your worth came from helping others, you might attract takers who never give back. If you only feel safe when you're invisible, you may choose partners who never really see you. It's not your fault, but it is your pattern. And every pattern has an elemental frequency behind it. That's where Wu Xing comes in. Not just as 5 labels, but as 5 forces, 5 vibrations, 5 relational strategies built into your energy body. These are wood, the force that pushes forward; fire, the force that radiates outward; earth, the force that stabilizes and nurtures; metal, the force that refines and lets go; water, the force that absorbs and remembers. Each one has its gifts, each one has its wounds, and together they form your emotional geometry, the pattern that others feel even before you speak. You may have 1 element that dominates, or 2 that dance between extremes. You may suppress one, over-identify with another, project your missing element onto someone else. And yes, this explains why you're always attracted to people who trigger the same thing inside you. Let me give you a truth bomb. You don't attract your type, you attract your energetic mirror, the piece of you you've forgotten, abandoned, or rejected. Your fire might seek metal to feel contained, Your earth might chase fire to feel alive. Your wood might find water, only to feel drowned. Your water might long for earth, just to disappear into it. Every match is a message. Every heartbreak is a map. So don't ask, why do I always fall for the wrong person? Ask, what part of my energy keeps reaching for that kind of pain? The good news? You can shift your field. You don't have to fix yourself. You just need to rebalance your elements, reconnect to your missing frequencies. And then you stop attracting lessons. You start attracting resonance. Let's step into the 5 forces that shape everything. From your instinctive reactions, to the kinds of people you keep choosing, to the way you collapse or explode under pressure. These aren't zodiac signs. They aren't types. They're energetic archetypes, each one connected to nature, emotion, rhythm, and soul movement. Let's meet them. Wood, the visionary force. Wood energy pushes forward. It wants growth, direction, achievement, impact. Wood says, let's go. Let's build it. Let's not waste time. But in imbalance, wood becomes impatient, aggressive, controlling. It bulldozes instead of building. In relationships, wood often takes charge, but struggles to slow down and truly listen. Fire, the expressive flame. Fire energy shines. It lights up every room. It connects through joy, play, and passion. Fire says, feel me. Celebrate this moment. Let's burn together. But in imbalance, fire burns too hot. It gets anxious, dramatic, emotionally unstable. It needs constant affirmation or it flickers out. In love, fire gives fast, but may collapse just as fast. Earth, the stabilizing giver. Earth energy supports. It nourishes, cares, holds space. Earth says, I'm here. I'll take care of it. Let me help. But in imbalance, Earth gives too much, absorbs too much, and forgets to care for itself. In love, Earth often becomes the martyr. It stays, even when staying hurts. Metal, the refiner's edge. Metal energy clarifies. It edits, polishes, sets boundaries. Let's go. Metal says, what's essential? Let's do this right. Leave what no longer serves. But in imbalance, metal becomes rigid, cold, judgmental, emotionally unavailable. In love, metal offers structure but may shut out softness. Water, the depth walker. Water energy flows inward. It reflects, feels, imagines, remembers. Water says, let's go deeper, sit with this, feel the unseen. But in imbalance, water withdraws, disappears, escapes through silence or fantasy. In love, water longs for intimacy, but often can't stay long enough to feel safe in it. Each of these elements lives in you, but one or two usually dominate your emotional field. And the ones you're missing? You either project onto others or subconsciously seek out in painful ways. So here's the big question. Which one is leading your relationships? And which one have you abandoned? Because once you know that, you'll understand why you attract what you do. Why certain people feel magnetic and why certain kinds of love always seem to hurt the same. They rise before the sun. They move when others hesitate. Wood people feel the world as a challenge, a mountain they're meant to climb. They don't ask, if something is possible. They ask how soon it can happen. Wood is movement. Wood is push. Wood is forward. It is the spring of the soul, the force that breaks through frozen soil, not to destroy, but to grow. Now, let's feel into the wood personality. Who are they? Driven, strategic, decisive, restless, ambitious. They are the ones who create structure out of chaos, see the goal no one else sees, push themselves and you to grow. But what happens when the world resists? What happens when their vision is blocked? Wood doesn't retreat. It tightens. It clenches. It fights harder. In imbalance, wood becomes controlling, rigid, impatient, angry at you, at the world, at themselves. Not because they're cruel, but because they feel stuck. They often say things like, just move forward. Stop wasting time. I already told you the answer. And when their partner doesn't move at the same pace, wood feels suffocated. Because to them, love is motion. Stagnation is death. But here's the paradox. Sometimes the wood type pushes so hard, they push love away. That's the nature of imbalance. A gift turned too far becomes a wound. Wood wants growth, but forgets growth isn't always forward. Sometimes growth means staying, breathing, listening, receiving.
Fire people light up a room, not because they try, but because they burn. Joyful, emotional, passionate. They speak in waves, not lines. They reach for the sun and want you to come with them. But fire is not just warmth, it's also danger. Let's meet the fire type. Who are they? Charismatic, playful, romantic, expressive, vulnerable. They love quickly, feel deeply, and when their energy is in balance, they're the heart of the relationship. But when overwhelmed, they seek attention, not connection. They spiral into anxiety. They mistake reaction for intimacy, and then burn out. Fire says, I just want to feel you. But they must learn, feeling is not performance. Presence does not require applause. To heal, fire must ground, breathe, find stillness inside the flame. Let joy become internal, not borrowed. Let radiance become rest.
They stay after everyone else leaves. They clean up the mess no one acknowledges. They hold the weight, even when it was never theirs to carry. Earth people feel the world through care, through presence, through responsibility. They don't ask what's exciting. They ask what's needed. Earth is support. Earth is service. Earth is stability. It is the late summer of the soul, the field after the harvest, where everything returns, to be held. Now, let's feel into the earth personality. Who are they? Loyal, dependable, sensitive, compassionate, soft, but unshakable. They are the ones who remember your schedule when you forget, cook when you're too tired to think, hold space when you're falling apart, stay, even when they shouldn't. But what happens when they give too much? What happens when their care becomes currency? Earth doesn't lash out. It overfunctions. It sacrifices. It erases itself. In imbalance, Earth becomes over-responsible, worried, resentful, emotionally drained, not because they're weak, but because they've made safety out of service. They often say things like, I'm fine. It's no trouble, really. I just want them to be okay. But inside, they're exhausted, invisible, lonely in the middle of everyone else's needs. And when their partner doesn't reciprocate, Earth says nothing. They tighten the grip, give even more, hope even harder, because to Earth, love is care. And if they stop caring, they fear love will disappear. But here's the paradox. Sometimes, the Earth type gives so completely, they forget how to receive. That's the nature of imbalance. A gift turned too far becomes a wound. Earth wants to be needed, but forgets. Being needed is not the same as being loved. Sometimes, healing means stepping back, letting others hold their own weight, letting silence say no, letting the body rest without guilt. Say this out loud. I am allowed to receive. I don't need to earn love by disappearing. Boundaries are also a form of care. Earth in balance becomes gravity, not heavy, but whole. A presence that feeds the world without emptying itself. They speak with precision. They move with purpose. They never waste a word, a gesture, or a feeling. Metal people see the world through clarity, through order, through essential truth. They don't ask what feels good. They ask what's right. Metal is refinement. Metal is structure. Metal is release. It is the autumn of the soul, the moment when leaves fall, not because they failed, but because the tree knows when to let go. Now, let's feel into the metal personality. Who are they? Disciplined, discerning, elegant, independent, self-contained. They are the ones who speak only when necessary, notice what others miss, set standards no one else dares to keep, walk alone, and feel proud of it. But what happens when they feel exposed? What happens when emotion enters the room? Metal doesn't open, it tightens, it retracts, it analyzes instead of expressing. In imbalance, metal becomes judgmental, aloof, dismissive, emotionally distant, not because they don't care, but because they fear messiness. They often say things like, "Let's be reasonable, you're overreacting, I need some space." But inside, they're overwhelmed, trying to process emotions through logic, trying to stay dignified while feeling deeply alone. And when their partner asks for intimacy, metal freezes, not because they don't want it, but because they don't know how to stay soft without falling apart. Because to metal, love is clarity, and if they can't explain it, they don't trust it. But here's the paradox. Sometimes, the metal type is so afraid to lose control, they never allow themselves to fully connect. That's the nature of imbalance. A gift turned too far becomes a wound. Metal wants perfection, but forgets perfection is not connection. Sometimes, healing means crying without explanation, letting others witness your grief, letting softness in even when it threatens the edge. Say this out loud. I can be precise and still be emotional. I don't need to be polished to be present. I am allowed to feel and still be whole. Metal imbalance becomes the sword that cuts illusion, but never cuts love. It creates space without silence, elegance without isolation, a structure not to protect the heart, but to hold it.
They don't rush, they don't shout, they simply disappear into silence. Water people feel the world through vibration, through symbols, through intuition so deep, most people miss it completely. They don't ask what makes sense, they ask what's true beneath the surface. Water is stillness, water is depth, water is mystery. It is the winter of the soul, where everything dies, so something ancient can be remembered. Now, Let's feel into the water personality. Who are they? Imaginative, observant, sensitive, dreamlike, timeless? They're the ones who
read the room before anyone speaks, cry at music no one else hears, vanish when they're overwhelmed, carry stories from lifetimes ago.
But what happens when the current turns inward? What happens when emotions become too much? Water doesn't shout, it withdraws. It hides. It shapeshifts. In imbalance, water becomes avoidant, disconnected, frozen in fear, present but unreachable. Not because they're cruel, but because they're overwhelmed by feeling. They often say things like, "I needed space. It's hard to explain. I thought you'd just understand." But inside, they're longing to be found, without being asked to perform, without being told to speak faster, louder, clearer. And when their partner demands answers, water disappears, not to hurt them, but to survive. Because to water, love is safety. And if it's not safe, they dissolve. But here's the paradox. Sometimes the water type retreats so far, they lose what they came to protect. That's the nature of imbalance. A gift turned too far becomes a wound. Water wants connection, but forgets. Connection is not mind reading. Sometimes healing means returning to the body, speaking the feeling even when it's messy, letting someone see you before it's all figured out. Say this out loud. I don't have to disappear to stay safe. My silence is not my strength. I can be vulnerable and still be whole. Water, in balance, becomes wisdom, not because it knows everything, but because it dares to feel everything. It doesn't flood, it flows, and in its quiet movement, it nourishes all life.
You think you chose them, but really, your energy chose them first. Every relationship you've ever had, every romance, rupture, and repetition was shaped not just by personality, but by elemental energy. In Wu Xing, the 5 elements don't sit still. They move. They interact. They create and control each other, not randomly, but through specific cycles. The cycle of nourishment and the cycle of control. Let's begin with the first, the cycle of nourishment. Shum. This is the natural, supportive rhythm of growth. Wood feeds fire. Fire creates earth. Earth births metal. Metal enriches water. Water nourishes wood. A beautiful circle, a chain of giving, where one element supports the next. In relationships, this feels like you inspire me, you hold me, you complete something I didn't know was missing. But support can become overdependence. Giving becomes obligation. Stability becomes stagnation. Even this nourishing cycle can turn toxic. Now, the second cycle, the cycle of control. Ke. This is the balancing rhythm where each element keeps another in check. Wood breaks through earth. Earth absorbs water. Water extinguishes fire. Fire melts metal. Metal cuts wood. It sounds harsh, but this cycle keeps balance until it doesn't. Until wood suffocates earth. Until fire scorches metal. Until water drowns fire. These patterns show up in couples every day. Let's bring them to life. Example 1, fire and metal. She's all emotion. He's all control. She says, "Feel me." He says, "Calm down." Her passion floods his precision. His coldness crushes her joy. They call it love, but it's a war between expression and refinement. Example 2, earth and wood. She nurtures. He pushes. "Hey," she says, "let me support you." He says, "Stop holding me back." He grows. She crumbles. Because his freedom breaks through her stability and she tries to bury his movement in care. Example 3, water and fire. She disappears, he explodes. Water says, "I need space." Fire says, "Don't leave me." So she retreats. He burns hotter. They spin. And nobody feels safe. Each pairing, a mirror, a lesson, a repetition of your inner imbalance, played out in another body. Here's the secret most people never hear. You don't keep attracting bad people. You attract the element your system is missing, resisting, or overusing. Your fire craves metal to contain it. Your earth chases wood to feel alive. Your water longs for earth just to disappear safely. The partner becomes your unconscious medicine, and sometimes your poison. But here's the hope. Once you name the pattern, you can shift the field. Not by avoiding certain people, not by dating your opposite, but by restoring the element inside yourself that you keep searching for in others. Say it again. I don't attract what I want. I attract what my energy is prepared to hold. Change the energy. You change the attraction. Shift the cycle. You shift the story.
You think it was chemistry, but it was choreography. Energy meeting energy in a dance you've danced before. Now let's see how the 5 elements show up in real relationships. Messy, beautiful, heartbreaking. Not theories, stories. Example 1. Fire woman and metal man. Too much versus too cold. She is spark. He is silence. She says, "Tell me how you feel." He says, "What do you want me to say?" She reaches. He retreats. Maya is fire. She burns with joy, emotion, movement. Alex is metal. Structured, calm, reserved. In the beginning, it worked. She lit up his quiet life, he grounded her chaos. But over time, her passion felt like pressure, his distance felt like disdain. Her tears made him shut down, his silence made her scream louder. Fire says, "Love me back." Metal replies, "That's not how I show it." But fire needs heat, and metal needs space. They weren't wrong for each other. They just didn't speak the same emotional element. Example 2. Earth Mother and Wood Son. The care that chokes. She wants to hold him. He wants to grow. She says, "I'm worried about you." He says, "I need room." Grace is earth, devoted, constant, selfless. James is wood. Ambitious, fast, easily overwhelmed by emotional weight. Since childhood, she's done everything. Cooked, cleaned, stayed up waiting for him, gave without asking. And James? Pushed, withdrew, felt guilty, then pushed harder, because to him, her love felt like soil that wouldn't let go. Grace says, "I gave him everything." James says, "I can't breathe." They weren't ungrateful or overbearing. They were trapped in opposite energies, each trying to love in their own language. Example 3. Waterman and Firewoman. Disappearing meets demanding. He hides, she hunts. He says, "I'm just processing." She says, "I need to know."
Lien is water. Quiet. Introspective. Deep, but hard to reach. Sierra is fire. Expressive, emotional, needing presence, now. They fell in love with what the other lacked. She brought him out of his cave. He showed her the depth beneath noise. But when she got loud, he got silent. When he shut down, she burned hotter. Water says, "I need to disappear to stay safe." Fire says, "I need to connect to feel safe." They were mirrors. but not mirrors of joy. Mirrors of old wounds. In the end, they didn't break up from lack of love. They broke under the weight of unspoken fear. Let's break the patterns down. In the first story, Fire and Metal, it wasn't just a mismatch. It was the same question on opposite ends. Am I too much? Am I never enough? One exploded to be seen, the other disappeared to survive. In the second story, Earth and Wood, the fear sounded like this: if I stop giving, will I still be loved? If I don't escape, will I ever be free? One stayed too long, the other ran too fast. Both were aching for safety, but in totally different directions. In the third, Water and Fire, it was the fear of vanishing versus the fear of being abandoned. She said, "Don't disappear when I'm finally open." He said, "Don't overwhelm me when I'm still afraid." And neither one knew how to meet the other in the middle. These aren't failures. They're fields of energy, trying to find balance, trying to remember love without abandoning the self. So ask yourself, which part of me always ends up giving too much? Which part always disappears? Which part screams for attention, then regrets it? Because relationship pain is never random. It's patterned, elemental, predictable, and most importantly, changeable.
You've seen the pattern. You've named the element. Now, how do you shift the energy? Because insight is not enough. Healing doesn't happen in your head. It happens in your field, in your breath, in your body, in your boundaries, in your daily choices. Each element heals differently. What grounds fire may flood water. What empowers wood may overwhelm earth. So let's walk through each element, one by one, and offer it the medicine it's been missing. Wood healing. From frustration to flow. Wood breaks when it's stuck. So give it movement. Go for a walk with no destination. Let your feet speak the emotions you won't say. Say out loud with every step, I let go. I release control. I move forward. Feel anger rising? Don't suppress it. Channel it. Push against a wall. Shake your arms. Scream into a pillow, then breathe. Let the rage move through you, not rule you. And most of all, simplify. Wood often gets lost in plans. Bring it back to now. What's the one choice I can make with integrity in this moment? That's enough. Fire healing. From anxiety to embodiment. Fire burns bright. But without grounding, it becomes panic. So start with breath. Box breathing. Inhale for 4. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4. Hold for 4. Repeat that slowly until the heat cools. Fire wants to be felt, so feel, but don't perform. Put your hand on your chest. Say the emotion in one word. This is sadness. This is joy. This is fear. Now say, and I'm safe. Because fire doesn't need applause. It needs containment. Wrap yourself in a blanket. Let your nervous system remember you are warmth. You are light. You are not chaos. Earth healing. From overgiving to wholeness. Earth gives and gives and gives until it crumbles.
Your healing begins with a single word: no. Say it out loud. No is love. Boundaries are care. I do not owe everyone everything. Let someone support you, even if it's small. Let them carry a bag, hold a door, listen without you fixing anything. And don't say sorry, just say thank you. Because Earth must learn. Receiving is not weakness, it's balance. Lie down on the ground. Feel your body touch the floor. Repeat, I don't have to hold it all. I am enough, just being here. Let the earth carry you, for once. Metal healing, from rigidity to release. Metal wants to be perfect, but healing begins when it breaks. Try this. Take a deep breath in. Now, exhale with sound. Ah, Let the grief rise. You don't need to name it. You just need to let it go. Stand in front of a mirror. Look at yourself. Really look. And say, this is me, unfinished, and still worthy of love. Now sit with something imperfect, a cracked bowl, a messy drawing, a moment of silence, and honor it. Because metal heals when it stops polishing and starts feeling. Water healing. From avoidance to presence. Water escapes, disappears, disassociates. So come back, gently. Stand barefoot. Touch your thighs. Bend your knees. Say out loud, I'm here. I'm real. This is now. Set a timer for 5 minutes. Write or speak your fear without fixing it. Just say, I'm scared of. I don't know what to do with. I feel. And when the timer stops, stop. Breathe. Let the words rest. Because water doesn't need answers. It needs permission to flow. Before reaching for isolation, reach for connection. Text someone. Say, I don't know what I'm feeling, but I want to stay close. Let presence replace perfection. Let being seen replace being safe.
You're not here to fix yourself. You're here to feel yourself, to take what hurt and turn it into power. This is the work of emotional alchemy. Not healing through suppression, not growth through guilt, but the quiet, sacred act of turning pain into direction, panic into light, collapse into center, silence into presence. Let's walk the process. There are only 3 steps, but they are everything. Stage 1, awareness. The pattern begins in the dark, but to change it, you must name it. Say, this is not random. This is my system repeating something familiar, and I can witness it now without judgment. Ask yourself, what element takes over when I'm in conflict? Which part of me disappears when I feel rejected? Whose energy am I always chasing, and why? Awareness is the light that stops the loop. You can't rewire what you still call fate. You can only rewire what you've reclaimed. Stage 2, containment, not suppression. Containment means
I can feel this without being this. I can ride the wave without drowning. I can hold the energy without acting from it. Say it like this: there is rage in me, and I am safe. There is sorrow in me, and I don't have to hide it. There is a need to be seen, and I don't need to perform for it. Containment is your crucible. It's where alchemy happens. You stay, you breathe, you hold, and the energy begins to shift. Stage 3, redirection. This is the transformation. Not from pain to numbness, but from pain to purpose. Say, this anger is not here to ruin me. It's here to reveal my boundaries. This fear is not weakness. It's a signal that I'm growing. This silence is not avoidance. It's space waiting to be claimed. Let's look at how each element alchemizes. Wood's rage becomes vision. Fire's panic becomes passion. Earth's overgiving becomes service without depletion. Metal's coldness becomes clarity with compassion. Water's withdrawal becomes depth without disconnection. You are not broken, you are becoming, and the parts of you that seemed dangerous, they were just unmet energy, ready to come home. Now let's go deeper. Let's bring the elements back together, because true healing is not about balancing one, it's about becoming the full cycle again.
The pattern is not the problem. The attachment to it is. We spend years trying to escape our pain, changing partners, scripts, behaviors. But the root pattern isn't in what others do to us. It's in what our energy unconsciously expects. You weren't born into a, quote, flawed pattern. You were born into a cycle of growth, the wood element, passion, the fire element, support, earth, clarity, metal, surrender, water. Your suffering began the moment you believed you had to become just one of these to survive. When you cut off the rest to fit someone else's love. So now, you chase passion but can't receive support. You crave stability but sabotage softness. You want clarity but fear letting go. This inner fracture sustains the outer cycle. Repetition is the soul's way of asking for completion. You don't keep attracting the same person because you're broken. You attract them because your energy still believes. Maybe this time, I'll be loved in my full element. Maybe this time, I won't have to abandon myself. Maybe this time, I'll stay centered in who I truly am. The healing isn't in choosing the right partner. It's in becoming the one who no longer negotiates their essence just to be chosen. Love in Wu Xing is not harmony. It's dynamic balance. The Tao is not still. It's motion, rhythm, return. You're not here to become balanced once and for all. You're here to cycle, evolve, release, restore, begin again. Real love isn't a static bond. It's two people practicing the alchemy of attention together, saying, I see your fire, and I won't extinguish it. I feel your water, and I won't abandon it. I witness your wood, and I won't resist it. I honor your earth, and I won't drain it. I accept your metal, and I won't fear its edge. That is sacred resonance. There is no final element, only the return to center. Your center is not an emotion, not a thought, not even a pattern. It's a field, a quiet, pulsing truth that says, I am all five. I am none of them. I am the breath behind them. When you return to that center, fire radiates without burning, water flows without drowning, earth holds without erasing, wood grows without control, metal sharpens without cutting, and your next relationship, it won't be perfect, but it will be real. You are not here to fix the old script.
You are here to remember who wrote it. You are not broken. You are moving. You are not chasing love. You are becoming the field that receives it. Final invitation. If this journey resonated with you, comment below. Which element are you reclaiming right now? Which part of your field are you ready to rewrite? You are not alone. Every comment is a new center being reformed. Let us rebuild the Tao of love, one breath, one pattern, one choice at a time.